A girl from Alaska disappeared in the middle of the street while waiting for her friend from the store. She was searched for by police and hundreds of volunteers, but none of them expected that all this would lead to such consequences. When the truth came out, the residents of the small and once friendly town were shocked, and their lives changed forever. Mandy Lemmer was born on July 19, 1980. She lived in a small village called Toslina in Alaska with her parents and two younger brothers. Mandy loved riding her bike along the forest, admiring the mountain peaks, and enjoyed going fishing with her father David. She was a very versatile girl. She felt comfortable in fancy dresses at important events, yet she could help her father fix a car wearing a dirty t-shirt. At that time, only 241 people lived in this village. Surrounded by endless taiga forests, mountains, and deep lakes, residential houses were located along the highway at some distance from each other. Since childhood, Mandy had been friends with a local girl named April. They spent all their free time together sharing secrets and growing up together. April's house was located 20 minutes away from Mandy's home. The distance did not bother the girls. They often walked more than a mile to meet their friends and play video games. That summer turned out to be particularly successful that year, before rainy autumn set in with pleasant warm August weather. Of course, local kids thought about studying as their last priority. They wanted to enjoy every sunny day fully, so Mandy decided to visit her best friend April one last time before school started again. Valerie stood by the window watching as her daughter moved further up along the highway away from home. The following events are based on an interview with April. Mandy and I walked down the road around 3 o'clock. I carried a large backpack on my back when I stumbled over a stone, badly scraping my leg. I went to get medical help at a store where they helped me clean up. I told myself it wouldn't take long. Mandy should have waited for me at our meeting spot. But maybe she got impatient. I went back down but couldn't find Mandy. She always played pranks on us, so I thought she might be hiding behind bushes planning to scare me or something like that. But she never showed up. Realizing something terrible had happened, April went to her friend's parents. David, Mandy's father, called police. About 75 people joined search efforts, distributing flyers, combing through nearby areas looking for traces of little girl. And helicopters surveyed dense woods from above. Several theories emerged, ranging from lost in forest to bear attack. Specially trained dogs were brought into search, but failed to pick up scent or track down Mandy. 10 days after disappearance, the search team found lifeless body of girl. No murder weapon was ever found, suggesting perpetrator may have disposed it throwing into river. The body was discovered approximately a mile away from home. The investigation was complicated by the fact that a heavy rain had washed away possible fingerprints, shoe prints, and tire tracks several days before Mandy's discovery. A local resident told the police that a local builder named David DeForest had shown unusual interest in the case and constantly talked about it at work. DeForest denied any involvement in Mandy's murder, and his employer confirmed that he was at work on that day. But DeForest had some interesting information. He saw another man, Charlie Smith Hart, driving his pickup truck on the road where Mandy was last seen. 61-year-old retiree Charles Smith Hart was a mechanic who had been divorced twice and lived in a temporary workshop behind his mother's house. Many local children knew him as he often fixed their bicycles and gave them candies. By coincidence, he observed the search for Mandy and showed interest in how the investigation was progressing, but never signed up as a volunteer searcher. Investigators noted Charles' strange behavior. He lingered around and asked suspicious questions to the police group before leaving to attend to his own business. During questioning, Charles immediately provided an alibi, claiming he was watching TV with his mother. However, Toslina is not Moscow. Verifying an alibi in a village is much simpler. The police found out that Smith Hart's mother lied about her son's alibi. On that day at 3:17 p.m. she went shopping and paid for goods with a check which poked holes in Charles' alibi. No one could confirm his whereabouts during the 2 hours when Manny disappeared. The accounts of other villagers were also intriguing. According to them, a week before Manny vanished, Charles offered some girls rides home. Evidence was needed. Forensic experts discovered shiny microelements and carpet fibers on Manny's clothing. And then fate intervened. During another round of questioning, investigators noticed that Charles' shirt shimmered slightly. He explained it away by saying it came from sanding all day in his workshop, creating similar shine as on Manny's clothes did, leading police to search there, finding identical shiny micro-elements, confiscating Charlie's pickup truck. They found matching carpet fibers on its seats, but what remained unclear was the motive for the crime, so investigators flew to California to interview one of his daughters. Unfortunately there, they found evidence indicating that Manny wasn't first victim of violent action. Sway spoke extensively with daughter until she tearfully confessed her father showed attention towards her, and sister aged 11 years old. Finally, after 3 months long investigation, Charlie got arrested November 26, 1991, charged with kidnapping, sexual assault, and murder. Charlie's defense claimed Dave DeForest guilty. Charles' cousin reported seeing car near place where remains were discovered 2 hours later. She didn't know who drove car, but believed it belonged brothers' pickup. July 22, 1993, court convicted him. All charges sentenced him prison term of 114 years. In year 1999, court overturned conviction. This meant that the man would spend the rest of his life behind bars. His lawyer tried to challenge the verdict several times, and in 1999 he succeeded. He was able to convince the Alaska Supreme Court that the trial of his client had been conducted with violations. This concerned a ban on trying to prove involvement in the murder of other people. As a result, Charles Smithart's sentence was technically overturned, but he remained in prison awaiting a new trial. And here arose a rather dubious situation. After the annulment of Smithart's sentence, he ceased to be considered a murderer. Smithart did not live to see a retrial. In 2000, he died from lung cancer. After his death, it was no longer possible to initiate a new legal process. As a result, officially, the murder remained unsolved, even though overturning the verdict became merely formalities. Despite this, there was no doubt for anyone that he was indeed the killer. In addition to all-encompassing evidence, his history with his own daughters vividly showed what kind of monster this person was. Mandy's father later said that he did not regret his decision when asking a friend to take away all his rifles. He struggled with wanting to personally deal with his daughter's killer, but then realized that if so happened, then his sons would have grown up without their father, as he would have gone off into prison.